In a family where favoritism was the norm, a young woman fought against the chains of oppression. Branded as the black sheep by her family, she watched her brother be elevated while her own aspirations were trampled upon. Cast out of her home and left to forge her own path, she found strength in adversity. Years later, in the face of her success, those who had scorned her returned with outstretched hands, seeking to share in the wealth they never believed she would achieve.
I'm a 28-year-old woman with a twin brother. Growing up, my twin brother and I experienced very different treatment from our parents. For some reason, my parents seemed genuinely convinced that my brother was destined for greatness, while I was labeled the black sheep simply because I was more interested in playing sports or making new friends than studying. They constantly compared us, which was demoralizing and hurt my self-esteem from childhood. As a child, I had to watch my brother have extravagant birthday parties with his friends while I was treated as an afterthought. He often had sleepovers with his friends, while I wasn't even allowed to bring my friends home. Honestly, I hated every minute of my childhood. The only person in the family who seemed to care about me was my grandmother. When she visited, she always brought me my favorite chocolates and occasionally slipped me some money so I could treat myself later. As the years passed, this blatant favoritism towards my twin brother gradually turned into emotional abuse directed at me. My parents openly mocked my grades and belittled my hobbies. It seemed that no matter how hard I tried, I could never meet their expectations of being the perfect child. Even though I excelled in sports, they prohibited me from participating in extracurricular activities because they wanted me to focus solely on academics, just like my brother. It was frustrating. And I felt powerless as a child. Later, in my second year of high school, I was punished again, and this time the crime was having Snapchat on my phone. I hadn't done anything wrong, except for downloading the app like all teenagers my age to stay connected with my friends. However, according to my parents, this was a huge crime and a breach of trust since they had forbidden me from communicating with my friends. They were furious with me, threw all my belongings around the room, and then took the doors off their hinges, telling me I wouldn't have any privacy as long as I lived under their roof. Watching my parents mistreat me this way, my twin brother, instead of supporting me, made my life even worse. The toxic environment created by our parents' unfair actions allowed him to exploit the situation to his advantage. He adopted a pattern of lying about me, falsely accusing me of things I never did so he could get away with things. If he stole something, he easily shifted the blame onto me, and my parents, already inclined to believe the worst about me, readily accepted his lies. He belittled me in front of my friends at school and mocked my appearance. Despite this, I had a large circle of friends at school because I was approachable and open to making connections. My brother, however, struggled socially and began to resent that I could talk to people while he, being introverted, felt uncomfortable. This envy reached a boiling point during our 14th birthday party when none of his friends showed up. I don't know why his friends did this to him, but in stark contrast, my friends took me out for ice cream, and I had a wonderful day overall. This enraged my brother, leading him to take further revenge. My brother started spreading false rumors at school about me, portraying that I was supposedly physically abusing him at home. Since our parents loved him more. Unbeknownst to me, he took things to a disturbing level to fabricate evidence. He would intentionally punch himself, inflicting injuries like a black eye or bruised shoulder. The next day, he would confidently walk into school, showing off the self-inflicted injuries as proof of my supposed violence, and make up stories whenever our parents questioned him about the injuries. He lied, saying they were from innocent activities like playing football with friends. The lies about his supposed black eye started to gain traction, and people began to believe his distorted version of events. It wasn't long before rumors started circulating, and even my friends began to look at me with suspicion. Initially, I noticed subtle changes. Friends who used to talk to me in the hallway suddenly distanced themselves, and invitations to group hangouts became less frequent. It was as if a switch had been flipped, and people hesitated to associate with a supposedly spoiled girl accused of violence. One day, I mustered the courage to ask my former best friend why things had changed between us. She opened up about how my twin brother had been spreading rumors about me. She revealed the detailed lies he had told everyone, accusing me of things I had never done. I was shocked to hear her words. The feeling was a mix of disbelief and betrayal, as if the ground had shifted beneath my feet. My brother, someone I had grown up with, was spreading lies about me, accusing me of things I would never dream of doing. It was a betrayal that cut deep, leaving me with a knot in my stomach and a heavy heart. I confronted my brother the next day at our school, but he chose to ignore me. I begged him to stop lying about me, but he just smiled at me and said I deserved to rot alone. I was speechless because his lies and behavior started to scare me. I wanted to talk to my parents but was afraid they would believe him more than me. The isolation hurt, especially because I had always been open to making friends. It seemed that the lies fueled by my brother's jealousy were destroying the connections I had built over the years. Even the teachers started hearing the rumors. It was a surreal experience, as if I were living in a parallel reality where my true self was overshadowed by the malicious story created by my own twin brother. The lies had gone beyond mere teenage gossip, they were shaping the actual perception people had of me.